Okay, let me ask you something. Have you ever made a plan, felt totally 100% confident about it, and then just watched it all fall apart? You know, where it takes way, way longer than you ever thought possible? Yeah, of course you have. We all have. Well, it turns out this isn't just bad luck. It's not even that you're bad at planning. It's a universal thinking error that's wired into our brains. So let's dive into this. It all starts right here. You know, that beautiful, clean, perfect moment? You can see the goal so clearly, you map out all the steps, and in your mind, everything just clicks. It feels like pure clarity.
And with that clarity comes this amazing feeling, right? This wave of optimism. You think to yourself, yeah, this is totally reasonable. This is achievable. I've absolutely got this. You're picturing the perfect scenario, where every single step just goes off without a hitch. And then, wham, reality hits. The task just expands. Unexpected problems pop up out of nowhere. What seems so simple and straightforward suddenly becomes this long, drawn-out slog. If this sounds painfully familiar to you, trust me, you are not alone. This experience is so common, it actually has a name.
You see, this huge gap between our neat and tidy plans and the messy, complicated truth? Well, that's what psychologists and behavioral economists call the planning fallacy. And really, understanding it is the very first step to finally getting a handle on it.
So, the planning fallacy is basically our brain's default setting to lowball estimates for, well, pretty much everything. Time, money, effort, you name it. But here's the really wild part. We do it even when we have direct personal experience of failing to meet those same kinds of estimates in the past. It's like we never learned.
And I really want to make this clear. This is not some personal failing. It's not a character flaw. It's a universal thinking error, a cognitive bias that affects all of us, from our little daily to-do lists to absolutely massive global projects. Just think about your own life for a second. That report you told your boss would take, just a few hours. Yeah, that ends up stretching into a full day because of some unexpected issues. Or that new habit you're going to start, like hitting the gym 3 times a week. Life interferes. Your motivation dips. Other priorities pop up. See, our plans tend to focus on our best intentions, but reality is just full of friction.
Now, let's look at what happens when this little thinking error scales up, because the consequences can become absolutely enormous. We see it everywhere. Big construction projects, new software development, public infrastructure. The initial forecasts are always super confident and optimistic. And the outcomes? They're almost always delayed and wildly over budget. We're talking by years and billions of dollars.
So, why? Why are we so consistently wrong and always in the same direction? Well, it all comes down to a few predictable little glitches in our mental software, what we can call the optimism trap.
It really boils down to how our brains are wired. We have this natural optimism bias. We just expect things to go smoothly. So we end up planning for a perfect world with 0 interruptions, which, of course, doesn't exist. And to top it all off, our brains have this amazing ability to conveniently forget all the stress and delays from the last time we tried something similar. And the fallout from all this isn't just theoretical. It leads to very real, very negative outcomes. Missed deadlines create a ton of stress. Wasted resources cost real money. And over time, it damages our credibility, and on a larger scale, it can seriously erode trust within teams and whole organizations.
Okay, so that's the problem. It's big, it's baked right into our psychology, but it's not a life sentence. The good news is, once you can name the bias, you can start to fight back. We can learn to make plans that are way more resilient and realistic. So let's look at 4 practical strategies to do exactly that. First off, use your own history. Be a ruthless detective about your own past. Your optimistic brain wants to forget, so you have to force it to remember. How long did a similar project actually take last time? Not how long it should have taken. Be brutally honest. Second, add buffers. This isn't being pessimistic, it's just being a professional. A 20 to 30% buffer on your timeline and budget isn't padding, it's just accounting for reality. Third, break your tasks down into the smallest possible pieces. A big task like write report is a trap, but research the data, create the outline, write the first draft, edit the draft. That starts to reveal the hidden complexity. And finally, number 4, assume there will be interruptions. Don't see them as a failure of the plan, see them as a predictable part of the process. Go ahead and block out time for unplanned work right in your schedule. Make the unknown a known part of your plan.
When you start doing this, it leads to a fundamental shift in how you think about planning itself. Let's be really clear here. The goal of a good plan isn't to be a perfect prophecy of the future. I mean, that's impossible. The real goal is to create a roadmap that acknowledges and, more importantly, respects reality. with all of its potential for friction, delay, and unexpected twists and turns. This, right here, is the key. As the source material puts it so well, clear thinking begins when expectations meet experience. True clarity happens when what we hope will happen finally shakes hands with what our past experience tells us usually does happen. It's all about bridging that gap.
So I'll leave you with this one question to think about. Whether it's a project at work, a home renovation, or a new personal goal, what's one plan you have right now that could really benefit from a healthy dose of this kind of realistic thinking? Thanks for listening.